Okay, so Doctor Who Season 2 is officially here with the Robot Revolution coming out at 8 o'clock in the morning in the UK, which was just great. But even from the very little sleep I've had, I can tell that this episode is a good one, a pretty solid Doctor Who episode. This is a review of the Robot Revolution, so of course there will be spoilers within this video. I'm going to be telling you things I liked, things I didn't like, things that were alright, things that I found really good. So yes, spoilers, click off now, go watch the episode and then come back. As I have done with all previous Doctor Who reviews, I've got to give massive props to Ncuti Gatwa. He was great in this episode, and I really felt like we got to see the more alien side of the Doctor, with him just taking, a sample of Belinda's DNA without even asking. There was a few moments like that within the episode that really give you the feeling that the Doctor is more alien than, human. And that was down to a huge part of the characterization of Belinda, not exactly trusting the Doctor, immediately going against the Doctor, not just going along with everything he's saying, which gave a really good TARDIS dynamic that we haven't seen in quite a while. And the character of Belinda herself is a pretty serious but sarcastic character, which really gives me those Donna Noble Martha type vibes, and it just really works here. I mean, to be fair, and massive props to RTD and everyone else that has worked on this episode, the characterization of all the characters and all the plot points there worked really well. My one critique, and I don't want to fall in amongst the crowd, is that Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor did cry again in this episode. It felt a bit more reasonable as the character Sasha, who he'd been in with in this episode for about 6 months, had been killed by one of the robots. I think my issue is, although I do get why Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor cries, the more he does it, the less impactful it is, and you kind of just roll your eyes every single time it comes around because you know it's going to come around. I don't want to harp on it too much because it's not like a huge issue for me or as big as an issue that a lot of people are making it out to be. It's just kind of like a bugbear of mine, especially when overall I did enjoy this episode a lot. Again, I've got to say, one of the big ups of this episode is the overall aesthetic and how everything looked. The robots were great, the alien planet looked amazing, and the AI generator as we'd seen in the trailers, who a lot of people thought was a mega, looked genuinely incredible in the episode. Part of me really wanted it to be in another episode, right, or even more serious and dramatic character, as the absolute look of it is genuinely grotesque, and it works really well. But it works well and contributes to the overall theme and overall message of the episode pretty well. And I'm not done talking about how good this episode looked. There was an explosion within the episode, and some of these shots that we saw were just genuinely beautiful. Like, this episode of Doctor Who might be one of the best looking episodes of the entire show. One thing as well that I will say is the first 10 to 15 minutes of this episode I really struggled to sink my teeth into. I don't know what it was about it just really didn't sit right with me. And then there was a pretty big tonal shift about 15 minutes in when Belinda was taken to the alien planet, and that's just when the episode really picked up for me. I think as well, right, you notice that this episode is far superior to Space Babies, for example. It's a really good jumping on point. It's not overly serious, it's not too dramatic, it's got a great mix of comedy and serious elements when you compare it to Space Babies and you've got talking babies and a bogey monster, right? In comparison, this episode works really well as another jumping on point for the show. The quality difference between this and Space Babies is absolutely astounding, and it's unfortunate that we got this in Series 2 instead of really Series 1, which would have been far better because, hopefully people wouldn't have just clicked off immediately. One critique I've seen floating about, right, is that Belinda's character says Planet of the Incels, and for whatever reason, Twitter and certain individuals have just blown up about it.
Planet of the Incels.
Now, I don't particularly know why people are taking this so to heart, right, which I do find pretty funny. I don't necessarily think it's the greatest gag in the world. It might have not even landed the best for a lot of people, but it's just a line, it's meant to be a gag, it's nothing too serious, and people who are genuinely, offended or annoyed by this need to, kind of get off their high horses a little bit. It's also an incredibly funny clip to now, respond to people with on Twitter, so I appreciate that. And it is honestly a pretty strong, solid season opener. I don't think it's the strongest episode that we've ever seen, but it's a pretty good, enjoyable episode. There's nothing major to critique there for me to, sink my teeth into and say, this was really shit. And this is what the show needed, right? A pretty strong, solid season opener after whatever that Christmas special was, right? After all the worries of a possible hiatus, this is what we needed to see.
I kind of know that the Doctor's reached the status of Robin Hood. Sometimes there might be a pause, and during that pause, the viewers of Newsround now will grow up a few years and start writing stories and they'll bring it back.
So, going into this episode, for me at least, I was, thinking about the hiatus or whatever, so I was pretty shockingly surprised how good this episode was, and I'm hoping that's what the majority of people are feeling. I'm seeing a lot of positivity for this episode, and to be fair, this wasn't really an anticipated episode for many people, including myself. People are looking forward to the next episode, right? So to really hit it off with a pretty solid opener, nothing that's really glaring there to critique, is a really good start. It's definitely better than both Space Babies and The Devil's Cord, better than The Star Beast, and definitely 100% better. It could literally have been the worst episode ever and still been better, Joy to the World. But the Robot Revolution has honestly got me really excited for the following episodes. Really excited for the characterization of other villains, because how everything was handled in this episode regarding characters, villains, the robots and everything worked really, really well for me. I'm loving the character of Belinda, probably more than I was with Ruby Sunday at this point when she was appearing. And straight off the bat as well, you got Mrs. Flood in the episode, which, is setting up this long arc throughout series 2. So, I'm pretty excited. If I had to give a rating like I have done in the past, I would say this is a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's a really good, solid episode, and I would definitely recommend watching it yourselves, and maybe even on a rewatch. But everybody watching, please feel free to comment down below your thoughts on this episode. Give it a rating if you want. Tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. If you're excited for the following episodes, please feel free to comment on that all down below. Once you're done, then you might as well smack that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a future Doctor Who video. Over the next 8 weeks or so, as the episodes come out, there'll be tons of new Doctor Who content, as I want to be doing a review at least once a week on the new episodes that come out. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I will catch you in the next Doctor Who video.